I mean, I would look at what is the work that you're spending the most time on, and whether it's repetitive and mechanical, and then figure out ways how you can delegate that to AI.
Uh, you're listening to Avidly Talks, by the way. Welcome back. It is a new series, not that we ever stopped, but a new topic. And I'm joined by my colleague Erik Mashkilleyson. He is Strategy and AI Director at Avidly, Avidly Design, Avidly Suomi, the Avidly team over in Finland. You've just come straight off a brand pitch to one of your clients.
I have, yeah, and I was, which went great, by the way. But otherwise, I was in London last week, um, at the Sabre Awards, where we brought home 4 awards.
Did you carry them on the plane?
No, they wouldn't allow us to take them on the plane because they're
Oh,
like sharp and pointy, so they're classified as weapons or something. So we had to put them in the cargo.
makes sense that it's
Yeah,
Sabre, yeah.
great to
So,
be here with you, Paul.
4 awards.
Yeah,
What
long
were they?
time listener, first time. Yes.
Yeah, dickhead. Um, what were the awards for?
They were for best social media campaign, best corporate philanthropy award. Then what were the two others?
I take it you didn't work
Uh,
on the other two.
best newsjacking. Yeah, I'm just coming up with this on the spot. And then best startup campaign.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was
So
that the
there were
Origin?
two campaigns. One was Origin by Ocean, which makes chemical components out of invasive seaweeds, like this biotech company, and then another one was the Bridge of Trust, who brought 100 European investors by land to Lviv in Ukraine to a local startup event, so that they
Wow.
can fund Ukrainian startups. So like really inspirational clients.
Nice. And they're on the website, on the case studies. I know Origin is.
Yeah,
And I've seen the video from Liv.
yeah,
So,
had some great videos done of them.
nice. Have you sobered up?
Uh, yeah, I mean it's Monday, so I think I'm getting rid of the shakes by now.
Right, we're going to talk not just your awards, which is pretty amazing. We were going to record this the morning after your ceremony.
Mhm.
And just for the record, you were there on time. You were ready. It was the Airbnb Wi-Fi that let us down.
Yeah, that was a shame. Funny
The
story
awards
about
were
that.
there then.
Funny
Go
story
on.
about that Airbnb, somewhere next to Barbican. They the day that we were supposed to go in, I got a video from the host, and which had the directions of how to get in and everything. We went in, took the keys, got in. There was someone else's stuff in there.
Double booked.
So then we left. We went to the pub and then started texting him and like, "What's all this then?" And yeah, apparently he'd sent us the wrong video.
You've
Which
just
is,
gone in someone else's.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of scary. Someone else could just come into your room while you're not there.
That's reminds me of Anka in Norway, or the HubSpot AI director.
Yeah.
When we went to Inbound last year, she was messaging, "I don't go in the room. It looks like there's a body. What do I do?" Frantic messages, and
Hmm.
it turned out in the end it was just a mess. There was like a spilled drink, and the bedding had all been rolled up, and
Oh,
it looked
okay.
like a body in the shadows with
Yeah.
liquid everywhere.
Maybe somebody just
So
left
she
it
ran
there as a
away.
prank.
Yeah.
But
Well,
this is
it
a
worked. It worked. But they
well,
moved her.
Anka lives somewhere like in the middle of the Norwegian woods or something. Now, so
Yeah, so
you
maybe
know,
just
you
normal
don't know
city
what
things could have
what
spooked
you're
her.
gonna find there.
We are talking
Hi,
AI.
Anka, by the way, if you're listening.
We're talking AI, and obviously, with what you do in your role, tell us a bit about you do strategy and AI director for internally and Avidly clients, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right. So I work on brand strategy, service design, do like UX strategy as well. So digital experience strategy, how that's linked up to how brand and digital touch points link up. And yeah, so we just had a presentation where we came up with a whole vision and mission and values and a whole brand story for this deep tech client. So that type of stuff, that's what I've been doing for most of my career. Now I'm also an AI director at Avidly, and that that job is like pretty much evolving every day on what it actually means. I mean, basically, it's how to deliver different AI solutions to clients, but also keeping our design business unit up to date on everything that's happening in the world of AI and what sort of tools they should be using, and what's new, and stuff is popping up every day pretty much
Without warning as well.
Yeah, and
It's
then
not like they give a runway,
everyone's
is it?
sort of in a panic that that we're getting left behind, and there is this sort of franticness about it
Do
all.
you pick that up from customers, from clients? What's their sort of... Because
Well,
we're in a bit of a bubble, aren't we? Where are clients' heads at generally?
I mean, a lot of them have been, playing around with ChatGPT and looking at what it can do, but there's like this sort of huge imposter syndrome with everyone going on, that everyone wants to sort of. I suppose they might be a bit scared for their jobs too, that if they can't keep up with all of this, then they don't know where they're going to be in a few years' time. So everyone wants to sort of, even though the market's not at its most active point, people are very interested in buying all sorts of AI coaching, workshops and just for someone to give them a hand on, what stuff they should be looking at and what's in the horizon.
I guess you can waste a lot of time as well if you choose the wrong tool. I imagine there's a bit of advice of, don't use that. This is actually, use this thing over here.
Yeah, because once you get used to using some tool, then you'll notice in a few months' time that it's obsolete and you should be using something else. And I think a more interesting phenomenon that's going on is that, in addition to all the AI hype and that people are very curious about everything, there's also like this AI fatigue, right? That people are kind of getting cynical about it all. People are starting to like spot content that's created by AI, right?
Yep.
That there's like text that has this certain, like, it's all correctly written, but it has this sort of ChatGPT flavor to it, right? And then the internet is just filling up with that, with sort of this. It's not even just AI slop, right? Like weird crappily made like AI generated AI stuff, but just even properly written technical text, which still doesn't feel like a human has written it.
I've seen some writers like telling or training their AI tool to stop using an M dash.
Yeah,
because it's
that's
too
the
grammatically correct.
classic one. And then there are like these words like delve and robust and tapestry of something. Yeah, so you've got these certain terms.
It's odd though, because if that was in your vocabulary, if you were thrilled to announce this new thing,
yeah,
you now can't say that.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, everyone's removing. On LinkedIn there was some guy who was declaring the funeral of the dash.
I never bothered. It felt like too many clicks to press option and the hyphen.
Yeah.
Now it definitely is.
In Finland we use N dashes instead of M dashes. So once you started seeing M dashes in Finnish text, you knew that this is ChatGPT, because it was adding the M dashes from the English use of the M dash.
Loving him to bits, but if I saw my father-in-law use an M dash, then I know full well where he's got that post from.
Yeah.
Because he's a plumber, not a writer. So the fact that he's using grammatically perfect posts, big telltale sign. Where else are you helping avidly, your colleagues, but also your clients, do things beyond like writing LinkedIn posts or generating imagery? What other AI usages are you seeing good adoption or good uses for?
I think a lot of the uses of AI are ones that you don't really see, that they're like invisible. So you want to get those into your work processes to get people to be sort of more efficient. I mean, and yeah, without getting too lazy, right? So what we advise clients is that play around and figure out how it works and what sort of text it creates when you use different prompts, and play around with the prompts. Um, and and once you've written a text, you can use ChatGPT or Gemini to look at the text and evaluate it, and then you can write a bit of it again, and then you can put it back in there, and sort of like having like this very eager junior assistant that's ready to please and will check everything that you write, but don't trust them 100%. And so depending on what's the most valuable, what are the most valuable pieces of content for the client, and we can assist with those, and also maybe to find their tone of voice. And if we're talking about AI and branding, what will be valuable for brands is that they find their own brand voice, and instead of just copy pasting your tone of voice from your brand book and say like talk like this, but actually like giving them good examples of this is how we speak. Can you create more text in this style, but then also always have that human being who's there to make sure that it's written with taste. And that's something that the AI doesn't have, really, taste. And that's something that we should really cling on to, and why humans are needed. We have sort of a sense of empathy and a sense of what's cool.
The taste bit is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can get it to know your voice or your company voice inside out and better than you do technically, but you need to be that gatekeeper. Do you see any? Do you ever have to coach clients into not just going, I've trained it on the voice, I'm going to post, I'm going to not vet it myself?
I mean, because everyone's in a hurry always. So, but I do notice that if the clients that are most in a hurry and don't, they'll put a hastily written LinkedIn post on their wall, and you can instantly see that this is just copy pasted. So in those cases, I would advise that let's have a look at this again and analyze why I could spot that this was written by ChatGPT. But maybe just not taking whatever comes out of it just and immediately posting it. There's more of a process of like cooperation with the LLM.
What do you, in your experience, what do you see sort of the landscape like when it comes to everybody is in a rush, and if you take a cold-hearted sort of purely efficiency point of view, you can get a sales pitch done, you can get a website page done, you can do whatever it is, sales, marketing, a customer report or whatever can be finished, an email can be drafted in reply to somebody. All these things can be done like that.
Yeah.
What's the flavour out there of what's the appetite for people to do that, and where's the level of understanding for people actually going, no, hold on, do what you just said, Erik, and actually just because you can do it faster doesn't always mean you should. How are you finding things in your conversations around there with clients?
Well, it's interesting that people aren't very, completely open about their use of AI. That it's still sort of seen as that you're a bit of a cheat if you start, writing emails with AI and just putting them like that. And once someone notices that, oh, I see that you wrote this with AI, it's sort of a bit embarrassing that oh, I'm not that important that you would actually write your email to me. So I think once people start noticing this, that that this person has just been using AI to write their LinkedIn posts, uh, they'll become embarrassed, and then there will also be like a backlash that people would try to write like more original human sounding stuff. I mean, it's going to be this evolution of things, sort of laziness and creativity, right? So you won't be bothered to write something because you're just in a hurry, but then you'll notice that, well, I can't just put it out like this, so I'll have to be more creative and make it more interesting, and then it's gonna sort of go between those two.
What do you say to people who worry about that in terms of losing that creativity opportunity in their work? What should people do to sort of mitigate that?
Well, I guess there's going to be some sort of internal pressure. Although I did notice that now that President Trump's tariffs came out, those were, well, now it's kind of widely published that those most certainly were done with the help of AI, because you had countries in there like Gibraltar and some islands off of Antarctica, and because they've got these different country suffixes in their internet pages, so the LLM decided that those were separate countries as well. So, and most of those were also done with some sort of function that has, is not related to countries' tariffs against the US in any way. So that was probably just laziness. I don't know. They couldn't be bothered to go over each country and look at what sort of tariffs and rules they have. So that's definitely going to happen. I mean, if it happens at the highest levels, then so we won't have any idea, like unless we do some detective work and whether something is done with AI or not.
If you were 15 years back in your career or something, and sort of you just got this new tool that can speed up certain aspects of your role, where would you advise people draw the line in terms of get it to do these things but keep that as human created rather than AI created and then edited? Is there anything in sort of the marketing and brand sort of job role really that you think, no, at the moment you can only use AI for this but not for that?
Yeah.
Or is it so interwoven
it's hard
that
to have
that's
strict rules, but say 15. I mean, I would have used this for everything. If I was say doing my university studies, I mean, this would be such a great tool, just because you have a like a companion that never gets tired of the stuff you have to say to it, or because it also helps you learn if you're curious enough. And I think that's one thing, that you don't want to let go of your curiosity, but also like you have to rely on that you should have sort of your original taste, right? And I keep coming back to that, but that's something, because we as people, we're interested in whatever stands out, right? So, and especially in branding and marketing, you want to position yourself as different from the others. But because LLMs are by design cliche machines, right? Because they're predicting what you want to get out of them. So they manufacture cliches. So the only way that you're going to get any originality in there is by using human, imagination and creativity. So you want to really, hold on to that and not let your creative muscle, get too floppy.
And you gotta keep curiosity and keep creativity in your role where you can. So where can people start using AI throughout their process? And I think your mind went where mine did with my previous question. So it's interwoven at all different stages. It's not a don't use it on a Tuesday kind of rule. It's where are you using it effectively in that curiosity and creativity in your process? You're still doing those things. So how is this assistant, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Gemini,
Yep.
whether it's Claude, whatever your company uses, precisely, where are you using it and what for in sort of that whole work production?
Well, depends on. I mean, I use different tools for different purposes. Mostly, I use like OpenAI's tools. I think, like personally, I just found ChatGPT to be a better text producer than Gemini, for example. But say I'd use Claude to go over like data sheets or like Excel spreadsheets and find some insights from data. It's pretty good in that. And then I've got like different voice tools and I tried one just for one called Pi, which is just made to be like sort of this emotional companion, and you could just talk about your daily issues with it. But there are several different ones for several reasons. But if we're talking about brand and marketing, then I think you want to start out with just getting your thoughts on paper, maybe, or just talking with another, your creative partner about where do we want to go with this? What are the initial thoughts that we're getting out of this?
And you use ChatGPT or whatever as this partner?
No, I mean this would preferably be with another human.
Okay, right.
With an art director, for example, or another strategist, and get some human insights at first, so that you wouldn't immediately race to ChatGPT and ask what it thinks about this, because it will give you the most obvious answer. And you're not going after the obvious answers. You want to steer away from the most obvious. I guess what you could do is ask ChatGPT like for what it would do, and then do something completely opposite.
Says Avidly's AI director.
Yeah, no, I mean in terms of ideation and finding insights. But then when you're producing stuff, or once you have like some of those human insights, then you can really flesh them out with AI, and you don't have to spend so much time thinking about how am I going to fill out this customer profile, how am I going to lay out all the target groups that I have for this campaign, or who am I targeting with this brand. So it can really fill in all the details and all that stuff that used to take hours. So
how are you doing that? Are you meaning sort of ask it questions, or are you giving it data and asking it to reorganize it, or what kind of thing are you picturing where you're talking me through that?
Well, in terms of so if you have have an idea that we want to make this brand about, let's take some sort of term about, say, like being bright or something. The many meanings of the word bright. That it's a bright future and people are bright and intelligent and something like that. Maybe it could be like a university or something like that. And then you're working with that concept, and then you want to find out different meanings for that. So you can come up with a lot of different stuff. I mean, it'll give you the obvious ones first, but then you can pinpoint a few in there and start working on those and just branch off. But I mean, you're still the human there making those decisions on where you want to go with that. Or maybe it'll give you some options that will give you an idea of something that wasn't even listed on there. And that's an interesting process, because that's a back and forth instead of you just copy pasting what's in there.
I was going to try. Don't normally do this. I'm going to try and do a bit of a live play along to demonstrate that. Yeah, so me and you have had a back and forth around the angle we're taking, I guess, for a campaign.
Okay.
About being, the company's called, I don't know, Bright Solutions.
Okay.
And what? Say that again. We want some ideas, or
Yeah. So let's start with what we're going for in terms, if we're branding them, for example. Now, we're creating a brand strategy for Bright Solutions. They work with deep tech or something like that, and
we want to play with the idea that Bright is the future. It's clever people.
yeah, and then let's say we want to come up with a mission for this company that's written in a way that it would inspire the employees, the stakeholders, the customers.
Okay, so now let's stop a minute.
Yeah.
I'm presuming what do you want from this exercise with ChatGPT in this example? Are you just brainstorming whilst?
Yeah, so this would be like, some sort of phrasing that we could start building a strategy on. For example, that once we get these several uses for it, then you can start dissecting it into like what else can we find from this. And now my assumption is that the what it's going to offer is probably a lot of like cliched stuff, but there could be something interesting in there. So what you could do is like give me some like left field ideas, or
I find as well, if you give it a specific, the more specific you get with what you want back, the better at the moment, I'm finding.
Yeah, and because that's you as a human are making choices for it.
Yeah.
Like you're giving it more strict parameters, and it means that you already know kind of what it is that you're wanting to get out of it. And the more general it is, then the more general the answers are going to get, and the more cliched they'll be too.
I want to get those cliches out on the table.
All right.
Get them out of the way and move past. And then left field, you said. Give me 6. I don't know why I picked 6. 6 left field, out of the ordinary directions to pursue. Is there anything else you'd sort of do at this stage to? Because this is just getting that blank page removed, I guess.
You could you could also ask it to link the mission to the company's vision and its values, but then that'll give you another list.
Yet.
Yeah. So I mean, if we want to keep this example to keep it simple enough, then we could try this and then see where it goes, and because then we'll know what it's doing wrong as well.
Let's do this then. So just in case you're not watching on Spotify or on LinkedIn, Bright Solutions, ChatGPT prompt. We want some directional ideas for a brand strategy we're creating for Bright Solutions. Now this is our fictional company just for this example. Erik and I have had a brainstorm prior to this. We know some ideas. What we want now is to move on a step, remove the blank page. They work with deep tech. We want to play the idea of bright's connotations to the daylight, the future. Clever people are bright. We want to come up with a mission for this company that will inspire stakeholders, employees and customers. We want some sort of phrasing that we can start then further ideating and creating from. Give me all the obvious cliches so we can get them out of the way and move past them. And give me 6 left field, out of the ordinary directions to pursue. Does
right.
it need to know anything more about what they do, actually? I know it's a fictional company, so we might just have to make that up on the fly.
Well, I mean, it definitely would help if you know what it is that they actually do or who it is that they're trying to convince. Um, so
What's
that
their
we know.
product then? Let's just make it up. Let's say it's charity for disadvantaged people. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine.
They are a charity for.
I don't know what sort of deep tech solutions they'd be using, but maybe it'll
Oh,
come up with that as well.
yeah, bad. I missed that bit, didn't I? Yeah, go on. Give us a different. What do they do then that makes sense?
Oh, well, let's say it's for R&D departments of industrial companies.
Cool.
To make it boring enough.
So let's see what that comes up with. We've asked for cliches, all the obvious cliches, and we've asked for 6 left field out the ordinary directions to pursue. Now then, when you're doing this, do you how much of your time are you spending with a sort of, say you go in for 2 final ideas to
Yeah.
take back to the team? How long do you spend in this sort of back and forth with tools like ChatGPT? Is it the
I'll
morning?
spend a
Is
good
it
amount
2
of
minutes?
time, but I mean, the stuff that I'll go back to the team with would probably not come out of this
No.
process straight away. This would be inspiration for me to write. If it's just a mission, that's usually just one phrase. I maybe I could find an idea from this or something, a concept to go on, but then I'd put it in my own words. So you've got, I guess these are the cliched ones.
Mhm.
Engineering tomorrow, today. So I mean that's pretty much like Toyota's slogan.
Are there
And
any really cheesy ones?
yeah,
Where bright ideas become real. Illuminating the path to progress. These are all the
Yeah.
cliches, I think.
but I mean, then again, these are ones that you see a lot of companies using, and a lot of times they were invented by people, not AI.
Building. That's the thing, isn't it? Actually,
Yeah.
yeah, it'll give you all the cliches, but then you go, hold on a minute. There's something there, isn't there? The word pioneering or brighter. You can jump in on one thing, and then the
Yeah.
idea's sparked in you, I guess.
So then also your task turns into convincing the client too that you shouldn't go with a very cliched slogan, because that's gonna look like AI created it, or that people are tired of this in any case, and won't position you differently. All right, so we've got solar punk industrialists.
I don't know. They sound like a good gig.
Yeah,
I've seen them in the
I'd go
brewery
see
near the
them.
Helsinki office, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
R&D as exploration. Mental brilliance equals physical outcomes. Subversion of the bright. Oh, right, okay, hold on. These are themes. Sorry.
Yeah, those are themes, and then you've got the slogans on them. Help industrial visionaries build the future they want to live in. Nah, that's fine.
They're all.
Okay, sunlight breaking through the fog. So that's a nice image in your head, which can be used. Talking about beacons, sharp minds meet steel, and you've got, cutting edge, I guess.
I like the beacon. Don't know. Something to
Yeah.
explore there. I think it's done its job, though, there, hasn't it? I mean, that would have taken us
Yeah, I mean,
an
it's
hour to
it's
come
way
up with
better
all that
than
list.
all of those cliched ones. And what I like about this is that you've got, it's not just the slogans that it's got there, but it's got these concepts above it. So, like lab to launch pad, or time bending, bright equals acceleration. So, so maybe you've got like the speed of bright, for example, could be,
There you go.
bright as speed. I mean, so the last one, if you want to do things at the speed of bright, if it's a solution, then you've got, you could use that to market a product, and the speed of Bright isn't even written on there, but it could be something that
And there you go.
could be used like that.
I like that. There's a nice use case demo over as well, sort of. So you hit a roadblock, you hit a mental block.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I guess we can check back, but about 5 minutes there from opening ChatGPT and okay, we've got two ideas we both liked, and we can go back to refining that, seeing where
Exactly.
it goes, exploring it.
And if Bright Solutions, you're listening to this, then
If you exist and you are
slogan.
listening, this is not an Avidly thing. This is a Paul and Erik thing. That was, yeah, I like that. So that I guess I just wanted to explore, see how your brain works with sort of. I find that often. I had a good, I don't know, it was over an hour dialogue the other week, the week before last with ChatGPT, and then I ultimately ended up just going speaking to somebody else. But I'd done all my gibberish and dead ends with ChatGPT and knew how to just ultimately go and ask a couple of questions and get to a better answer. So it's there. It's a weird sort of. I didn't get any output out of it, but it helped me through.
I mean, recognizing those dead ends is definitely a skill that you need to have when you're using that. Because once you hit that roadblock, and because ChatGPT will try to please you, whenever you ask it, but then it'll just come up with the same stuff over and over again because sort of then what you need to do is, rewind, go a bit back, see where you sort of went wrong, and you gave some advice that always, stay away from cliches or something like that, and then it's then just stuck on
exactly in that cliche example where we were doing there. It stopped us working for 2 hours to just come up with the cliches and get them out of our system. Just done. There's lots of little use cases like that, I think, isn't there? Where can somebody, perhaps in an internal sales or marketing team, that's normally people who listen, where can they get started with using, let's say, ChatGPT, because it is the most common by far? Where can they start using it where perhaps they haven't considered already? So moving beyond LinkedIn posts. Yeah.
I mean, I would look at what is the work that you're spending the most time on, and whether it's repetitive and mechanical, and then figure out ways how you can sort of delegate that to AI, because that's usually stuff that's, for example, writing a PO or something like that. Then so what you're doing is you're basically just writing the same document over and over again, but just adding new details to it. So instead of spending all your time on that, maybe you want to spend your time on thinking about what's good for what does the client actually need, and what's the debrief. Yeah. So and then just generally what I tell everyone is just just play around. You're not going to break anything. Just start using it and see how it works. The more familiar you are with it, the more you understand what the tone is in the discussion. That you can ask it anything, and the way that you ask something from it is the way that it's going to reply back to you.
Interesting. Yeah, that's something once you've played with it for a long time, you kind of take it for granted. But if you're new to it, try asking it in a different way. If you don't like what it's giving back to you, it's not a standard thing.
I've heard stories where you have people that say that, oh yeah, I tried AI and it wasn't good. I'm not using it. So just because they had a few bad experiences, or they
12 months ago.
Yeah. And they've developed immensely. Like back 12 months ago, I used to tell people that you preferably use English when you're speaking with an LLM, because most of the data pool that it's getting its information from is in English. So you're going to get better answers from it in English than in Finnish. That you'd rather get an answer in English and then ask it to translate it to Finnish. But now the level's so good that it doesn't really matter anymore.
Amazing. That pace of change, and I guess what I'm taking away from your answer is that pace of change. If you tried it a while ago, try it again. And if you don't like how it's trying to help you, try asking in a different way. Give it more information. Give it don't just assume the first answer it gives is all
Yeah.
it can do.
Yeah, don't think that you're talking to a genius, but more of like a very, very eager junior helper that's got an immense amount of time and resources, and they're willing to do whatever they can to please you. So,
And you don't have to wait 3 weeks. It'll give it you back in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So nice. I'm going to play around with some more little concepts like that. We might do another video with sort of some other use cases you have for it. Cheers for your time, Erik. I know it's
yeah,
been the end of a long Monday there. If you've enjoyed this episode, we're going to be exploring this topic, how to adopt AI safely and securely and effectively in your business, alongside some other ones too over the coming weeks. Thank you, Erik. Have a lovely
Thanks very
evening.
much,
Well done
Paul.
again on the awards.
Thank you.
I'll see you
It's
soon.
been a pleasure, and I hope to be back.
Cheers, pal. You will be. Bye.
Hey, did you enjoy this episode? Then be sure to leave us a comment, a review, and hit that follow button. See you next episode.